13th floor. The 13th floor.
Great. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I'm your moderator, B. Jones, and I'm glad to be here with you on this lovely Monday evening. We got our BFBG on the podcast. Faison, what's happening?
I am happy to be back. Pardon my exodus last week. This weather going around in the sixth season, both the boys happen to have something at the same exact time. And when that happens in the house, you already know hurricane season. So it was a little crazy, but I'm happy to be here. Very excited, and very excited to see Black Panther take another record for 2 weeks in a row of awesomeness.
Man, we ready? You late, man. You late. Too fresh.
Always on time.
What's happening, baby?
Just like Art said, another beautiful weekend. I actually had the opportunity to go out to the art fair out, and it's really a sidewalk. They paint on the street, or not even paint. They use chalk and make different pictures and sculptures. It's pretty awesome. So I got the opportunity to go out there with the fam. We actually went on Saturday and Sunday. We ran that thing on back because we wanted to see a lot of the artwork actually completed. And one of those pieces, of course, was the Black Panther one. I'll go ahead and throw it in there right now. See that? Dope.
We're going to be throwing all kinds of art in the podcast video today. Easy. Last but not least, our resident Coach K. What's going on?
Nothing. Just chilling.
Easy, man. How was the weekend, man?
It was good. I was at work.
But you enjoying the new fruits of your labor, man. You got a new position, new title, you know what I'm saying? It's all that extra responsibility.
I'm not enjoying the fruits yet.
No?
Nah, man. Right now, I'm just digging a hole for a tree.
All preparation.
That's all I've been doing. Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. You got to enjoy it a little bit more than that. No.
Man, I just will be happy when I regain full control of my schedule.
There you go. That's where it is.
That's actually very true, man. That transition is real. But hey, before we jump into the podcast today, Carol, you got to bust us down, run it down for us this week. That Black History fact you have for us today.
Black History fact. So a lot of people out there probably think that Barack Obama was the first Black person to run for president.
I actually thought
true indeed.
Dang, we just gonna discount the bros?
He is the hold on. True indeed, he is the first to actually run and be elected.
Okay.
Quote unquote. If you go search in history, there's some people that they will challenge you with and say that there's some Black lineage in their blood. You also had Jesse Jackson, who was sometime in the 80s. I don't remember, 84 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to Jesse Jackson, you had Shirley Chisholm. She was actually the first African American that ran under a major party, which she ran under the Democratic Party. Prior to that, some only known as a comedian actress, the late Richard Dick Gregory ran for president in 1968.
Almost won. There was some controversy on election night. All of a sudden, for some reason, he was registering 9 million votes out of Pennsylvania. And if you let him tell it, he'll tell you that they were trying to rig the election, and that election rigging has been going on since the beginning of time. And if that would have went through, he became president. So they had to fix that really quickly, and he ended up losing. But then another fact that I found is the first African American to ever run for president was in 1904. His name was George Edwin Taylor, and he was out of La Crosse, Wisconsin. At the time that he ran, he actually lived in Iowa. But this guy, it's almost like he's been just erased from history. This guy actually used to share a stage with W.E.B. Du Bois and those guys that were around during that time. And prior to looking it up, I had never heard of him.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing, man. Could you imagine Dick Gregory as president, though?
Hey, Nixon was in there.
But did Gregory in his old age too? Like that's when I became.
He was young at that point.
Not in that video. Yeah, he was.
So in that video,
he had hair.
Right. So I'm talking about
Sorry,
the Dick Gregory the Dick Gregory that I know though, because I was not privy to him in his younger years. But the Dick Gregory I know, the old very opinionated and sometimes senile sounding Dick Gregory in the White House at a younger age, I can only imagine it was amplified because he had the platform and the voice to do it.
Yeah, I think he actually has a lot of firsts. I think he was the first Black comedian to be featured at the Cotton Club. That's not the right thing. Whatever Hugh Hefner was running, he was the first Black comedian.
Oh, in Chicago.
Yeah.
And the Cotton Club, one of them New York clubs, or
yeah,
the Cotton Clubs in Harlem. Yeah. But yo, I've been to that hotel. It's now called the Drake in Chicago, but that's where the Pure Mansion was, and their thing was there. And if you go downstairs to that bottom floor, there's like plaques of like Hugh Hefner's stairs and Hugh Hefner's stuff, all that.
Wow.
So there, but yeah, it was a lot of Blacks that was allowed. That was a point where Blacks were allowed to go to like mixed events, and Hugh Hefner was one of the people who like pioneered that. It's okay, come on in, I welcome you.
Yes.
R.I.P.
A lot of people don't know that he was one of those people that was working in the integration scene.
R.I.P. Hugh.
Easy. Hey man, well, I want to jump into this picture, Justin Richburg picture, and I was pulling it up and I realized that he just posted 2 new pics that are probably just as controversial as the first one. But Fresh, can you throw that picture in here for us? Let it run. Bam. It's right there. So I hear that this picture is like a week old or something. I saw it a couple of days ago, but the one I put in the group with Allen Iverson and Martin Luther King, the Dice Game. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all of our prominent.
Mike Tyson,
Barack Obama, Michelle right behind him holding the money. Kevin Hart down there with looked like snow on his head. I don't know what that is on his head. Yeah, I don't know what that is. You got Charlamagne peeking out of the trailer, and then you got Tupac, Will Smith, and Black Panther. Look like they guarding the door or some junk like that.
Don't forget Denzel.
Oh yeah, Training Day Denzel now, not regular Denzel. Training Day Denzel. So you got all these prominent figures, Rihanna in there, and I want to get you guys' reaction. And I don't know if you were like me, where I had like 3 different reactions when I saw it. First and foremost, like I was appalled. I was like, oh man, this is trash. Can't believe they got our leaders up there. But as I look at the artwork for what it is, a piece of art and an artist's expression, I didn't want to be too quick to judge it, because there has to be some sort of intent with this piece. Now, granted, it's not anything that I would put on my wall, but after looking at it, trying to dissect it a little bit, actually a lot of bit, I'm a lot of bit much better, or I feel better about it. But it's so that's what it takes me through though. Like it's crazy. I go through all those emotions even looking at it now. But
I think that's one of the most intriguing things about the piece, right? Is that it evokes so many different emotions, and it does ultimately achieve what I'm sure the artists, look to achieve with creating it. It definitely at first glance to me was like, it's not my favorite. I don't necessarily want to see, all of our quote unquote leaders shooting dice and looking like they're hanging out on the corner or in some back alley. But then when Omar, who was on the show, shouts to O, he brought up the point of pretty much the story of OJ by Jay-Z, where it's the mentality of, no matter who you are, this is still how they're viewing us, which kind of took it a step deeper for me and took it past just the face value of looking at our leaders, shooting dice in the back alley. But then at the same time, in getting deeper into, having a couple days to digest it, I guess, I also see the relevance of in a sense, bringing the leaders down to feeling like they are also human, in doing things that, you see in the neighborhood.
Keeping it humble, keeping it
Yeah.
funky. What about you, Faison?
I would just like to see it in portrayed of something that's historic and just replace the figures. I mean, does it bother me? It doesn't bother me, no. Would I promote it? No. Would I like buy it and put it in my house? No. But it's something to look at it's there. It's not gonna change my opinion on anybody, but I mean, the guy can draw very well. So that part artistically is great. I would just love to see like that one and then see another one below it with the different views of how people see us. That'd be kind of cool to contrast. But I mean, I have no opinion on it. It's cool. It's not blah, just blah. It looks good though. I mean, visually, if I can remove the cash and the money, it would look like a really cool picture of everybody together.
But he could definitely do something historic if he actually wanted to, like something prolific if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of other art, a lot of messages in his artwork. If you follow him on Instagram and check out some of his pieces, and the points you made, Fresh, are valid. Another thing that I kind of got out of it was the almost like not forgetting where you come from aspect. And then because that piece, the dice game, is something that a lot of us may not want to admit on certain stages or in certain arenas or areas, but that's a part of the culture. Like, I grew up shooting dice. I've seen it. Some people may not have, but I still feel like that's a part of Black culture. And to see those prolific figures, those legends, those martyrs in that picture, still engulfed in something that is so close to a culture, it's almost humbling as well, because I took it a step further to think that everyone in that picture, almost everyone in that picture, knowingly has something, with them. Nobody in that picture is perfect. Nobody on the planet is perfect. Mm-hmm. And so to show them in that not so perfect light, but them still be known for what they're known for, they still accomplished amazing things. I respected it for that reason.
I saw two things. My first one was there is a statute of limitation on leadership. And what I mean by that is that today's youth, millennial, if we want to label them, they can't really connect to the accomplishments of some of the folks in that photo. Mm-hmm. And they might as well just be another person that existed, because they can't connect to what their struggle was, to what their achievement, what it was that those people stood for, because they're so removed from that. So they're looking for their new leaders now. So those leaders, as I said, you might as well just been shooting dice or whatever it was. My other interpretation is that, and I think Fresh mentioned it, no matter what you do or how big you get, you're still looked at as quote unquote a nigger, pretty much. And you might as well be running the streets with Pookie and them, because as far as we're concerned, y'all the same person.
But coming from one of us, though, you still feel like that's valid? Because he drew the picture. So
yeah, he drew the picture, but if you look at the rest of his art and what his art, the message it's sending and the thought that he tries to provoke, you would see how that could be a message he's trying to put out there for us, that, hey, no matter how big you get, even with Black Panther being in there, it's like, hey, no matter what this movie achieves, they still gonna look at it as a bunch of Black people in that movie. And there are people out there right now that, one, they got issues with the amount of Black people that were in it. Two, they're going to find some reason as for the success of it, and they're going to say that it would never happen again. And look, we'll see what happens. We'll see if things are created to kind of prevent something like that from ever happening again.
You can't discount $700 million though.
I heard of actually Dre, one of our friends, went to go see Black Panther, said when Claw was killed, that two couples of white people walked out of the movie.
Where was this? What city?
This is like Sunrise.
Yeah,
was still down in South Florida.
So they were just there for.
So they just only watched like what 20 minutes? He was done in like the first 30 minutes of the movie.
It goes to the end, did it, right? Spoiler.
Too bad for them. They missed out on a great experience. So with this picture, is it detrimental, given that it highlights that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think detrimental.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's detrimental. It's on the same line of Cedric the Entertainer talking about Martin Luther King in Barbershop.
Right.
In Barbershop 2.
Yep.
I'd have to play the clip. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something like Martin Luther King was nothing but a pimp or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I mean, to me, it's kudos to the artist, because for anybody to just be able to draw is one thing, but to draw a piece that can then provoke, so many different emotions. Because who knows? At the end of the day, maybe that was just a scene, of the back shot of Poetic Justice, and he just filled in everybody else and really had no thought at all of what was as provoking as it's become. But at the same time, the fact that it can be a moment captured in time and still bring that many different pieces of emotion, that's, hey, hats off to them. Again, it's not the feature representation of Black America, so I don't think it's a harm or an acceleration by any means.
That's good. And I think I love the conversation that it started, and it's gone viral. This dude went from like a couple thousand followers to like 60 in a day. Once I think
Charlamagne. I scrolled down. I was like, yeah, here's some cool stuff in here. I can get some t-shirts out of this website.
Yeah, man. So I think and the other thing, so I saw a conversation within the comments on the picture, and one of I guess it was a more conscious person or a more pro-Black person talked about how detrimental it actually was, and he likened it to, can't remember exactly, but someone back in some historic time wrote some pieces that were basically derogatory towards Muhammad in the nation or in Islam. Mm-hmm. And the group, the Muslims.
Towards who? Elijah Muhammad or towards
no,
Muhammad?
Muhammad, like
okay,
you're right. And the Muslims were prepared to go to war behind that. And that was the sentiment of this person, is like, we should not let people paint our leaders in such a negative light, no matter what the case may be, because they're leading us. They're at the forefront, fighting for rights and things of that nature. Now, do you feel like that is the stance that we should ultimately end up having to garner the respect that we ultimately want from the other side?
I follow the lines of, while I believe that there should be leaders, I also like our leaders to feel human and feel attainable, in the sense of that there will be leaders after them. I think a big, excuse me, I won't say a big issue, but an issue with the past is by holding people up on these super high pedestals and pushing them so far away from feeling that they're attainable. That's why we have an issue right now with who are the leaders and who are the ones who are supposed to be, pushing forward the culture and the heritage and equality. Who are those people? And I think it's because we push, the perceived attainability of being that voice so far out that it got it wasn't sexy anymore. It wasn't something that people attained to or thought was attainable, and so they've kind of shot away from it. I see it coming back around now when you can see so many schools repeatedly walking out on class around this gun issue in Parkland, which it's amazing to see that spirit is alive and well, and they're looking to push change. And that's what brings me so much hope and actual excitement that, oh, wait a minute, they're starting to get it. And not only are they starting to get it, they're starting to demand it
at such a very young age. Like I can't recall myself being that politically educated or involved in high school or middle school at all.
Honestly, I don't think until I met Carol, like I could say I was really like ready to like do a walkout. Like until college and in that crew, I definitely can say while I was aware, I wasn't ready to be a part of the cause. And I won't say necessarily where I just didn't have that around me. You know what I mean? So coming to school and being a part of like UBS, being able to have a lot more like-minded individuals and I'm trying to think what was one of the big issues around then, Carol?
One that comes to my mind immediately was they had leaked all of the background information of the Black law students. They had leaked like everything, like your high school GPA, your GPA in undergrad, you know, all of that stuff, financial aid, like all that stuff got leaked.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the outcome? How do you have that? What was the outcome?
I don't know if we ever figured out how it happened. Like they said, it was just some server error or whatever, and somebody took advantage of it. And they actually published, somebody in the law school published all the Black law students' information.
So it was everybody's information that was compromised, but this person decided to post all of the Black law students.
Correct.
Yep. Sort and deliver.
Correct. So we had
I was gonna ask, what was the response?
Oh yeah. We had some rallies, I guess you'd call it, some gatherings over at the law school, and people spoke and stuff like that. So basically just saying that, look, you know, okay, that's fine, whatever, but we're here now. So
now you got to deal with it.
Now you have to deal with us.
Excuse me. I think Justin is going to see a whole lot of success because the man is very talented. He can draw his behind off, and some of the messages that he has in those pictures, those drawings, is real life stuff amongst our community. So I wish him much success, man. I can't wait to hear him on the Breakfast Club when Charlamagne brings him on or whatnot, because he has to do it, I feel like. But I do want to go back to one of our quote unquote leaders.
Speaking of,
one of our quote unquote leaders who is trying to push the culture forward in her own way, Miss Monique. I got an opportunity.
Leader?
Hey man, she's the most decorated female comedian.
A legend.
She's a legend. Her resume speaks for itself.
Let me get my lighting right so we can talk about this legendary.
Miss Monique was on the Breakfast Club not too long ago. She wanted to come in and put Charlamagne on the hot seat for giving her a donkey today, for giving her the credit she deserved for her Netflix rant and all that it was. And she spoke out very freely about the whole Netflix deal, and she brought her husband / manager on there to kind of shed light on a few of the finer details shed light on some of the finer details of the deal that weren't expressed or we weren't privy to when she first made that whole video calling for the boycott of Netflix. And it was kind of interesting to see. I kind of got a better understanding of where she was coming from, although I still don't agree with her method. I think the Netflix boycott was very, very stupid, just to be quite frank. But as a woman in Hollywood, and she talked about some of the reasons why she may or may not have been blackballed or whatnot, and the things that her and some of her predecessors had to go through. It seems like she had a legitimate like stance almost, but she just wasn't moving in the right way.
I think it's just like Charlamagne was saying, it seemed and I hate
it's like good intentions.
Yeah, and it's just the way that she tried to play Charlamagne, right? No matter what we say, unless we're 100% on trying to champion, equality across the board, we're going to sound like we're some type of, chauvinistic pigs, or that we somehow have some type of, sexist point of view. And so it's I understand where she was coming from and the point that she's trying to make. However, at the end of the day, Netflix, in my eyes, it was about a job, and their only focus was on right now in the last, say, year. While yes, you did a great show, 2 shows, standing ovation, amazing, but at the end of the day, we are only talking about these 2 shows right now, and right now, over the last year, I can see, just like we talked about before, Amy Schumer's social media is blowing up. I know that she's going to have a packed house. People are going to watch on Netflix and XYZ. Monique, unfortunately, while you do shut it down when people see you, I don't know that instantaneously I'm going to have the same hit that I'm going to have with Amy. So that was the only reasoning I saw as far as why she was not getting a huge check. But even to then point out the fact that Dave and Chris are getting the check, it's just a continuous circle of, while I see what you're trying to point out, and yes, at the end of the day, that is true pretty much across Hollywood, entertainment board, and it is an issue. I don't feel that it was like their intention in that, the issue for what was going on.
Right, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Even though I think maybe, I don't know Hollywood numbers, the $500,000 sounded a little low, given 13 mil, 20 and 24 mil, that was on the table.
Again, I understand.
Like you said, these people are selling out arenas.
That's fair. Fair.
By themselves. And her argument was, well, did you ever hear about a tour called the Queens of Comedy?
That was 15 years ago.
And again,
and there were 4 of you.
Not just you
by yourself.
It's like Steve Harvey don't get up and talk about the Kings of Comedy, and he was the host. Like, everybody goes for Bernie on the Kings of Comedy. Maybe DLU.
Not saying that it's, oh well, that's my point, is that who's doing it. There's nothing to stop you from reigniting the Queens of Comedy and being the dominating force and breadwinner for creating that tour and making it happen. And I definitely think, just like Charlamagne brought up, Tiffany Haddish, I think that she definitely can garnish that type of attention and check. And I think she's
on Saturday Night Live now, first female host.
She's getting a Netflix special. She said definitely wasn't the 13, but she said it's definitely enough that her family's going to be so, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't a true issue to me. And even the way that she painted the story and saying, oh well, they didn't tell me why, like, to me that's not their job. Like, they don't have to, it's not for them to say, right, I have to qualify, and you're coming to them for a job interview at the end of the day, and it's not for that company to be like, oh well, you don't get to interview them all the time.
Right. If you get it, you get it. Like, if not,
She talked about what was that Christmas movie?
Almost Christmas, or
that nobody saw.
Did she write that?
But it did numbers, apparently.
I don't know.
It cost $17 million to make, and it made $45 million.
Yeah.
So I mean,
did she write that? And
I don't know I don't know if it was just her being a part of it. Yeah, that's what was know. Like just being in the movie. Was she in the movie? I don't. She was in the movie.
She was in the movie.
I think it was just her being in the movie. But even look, we all know and have in our family the strong Black woman and the overbearing strong Black woman, where it's their pain is so on their body that no matter what it is, it's almost like we have the militant, the super militant Black male cousin too, where it's just like everything is like, oh man, job turkey crack trying to come over on the same thing, where it's you have that really powerful Black aunt or sister who is just like, yes, there is racism out here, but I don't think because you got 3 chocolate chips on your muffin and I got 4 that, there was racism going on in this moment. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I feel. No one's disregarding the fact that there is an issue in Hollywood, in art, with racism, sexism, all of the above. However, I don't feel that was the main issue right here.
Hold on. Okay, before you jump in and we go off of Almost Christmas, I just looked up the IDB, whatever it's called.
IMDb.
Thank you. That cast supported itself. Nicole Ari Parker, Monique, Gabrielle Union, Carrie Hudson, Danny Glover, Omar Epps. That was not a Monique carried movie.
Nobody's worried about Monique.
That was
She's a legend. Stop it.
Yeah, she should.
Look,
I was like, what movie was he talking about? And I happen to Google it now, and I'm just like, she was just there.
Look,
I won't say she was just there because Monique is funny as hell.
Yeah,
when she's in movies, she's talented. She does her thing. She has range.
Wait, Brett. Wait. Why is she funny as hell?
I don't know. I guess because she's her. Like she.
Why is she funny as hell? Because she reminds you of that old black auntie.
Oh yeah.
Comes around and talk trash about everybody. Who does that? That's not gonna get you a $13 million Netflix deal.
Well, and that's the other thing.
Not everybody can relate to that.
And I want to get off this.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. Before we get off this,
because see, I got big issues with her because
Gorilla Carol,
you came out there and you put out. You put out this cause, but then you brought the cause narrowed down to yourself. Because it really came down to
it's only you.
And you went on this man's show, refused to call him by what he goes by, which is Charlamagne.
That was
Leonard.
So you came in there with hostility already, and then
she was donkey of the day
about taking women into the master's house.
That shit pissed me off.
When you came back and got him, like that was from a movie.
That shit pissed me off.
And then your whole thing is you mad with this man because he called you donkey of the day. You should be donkey of the decade at this point. This foolishness you're carrying on with, because all the man did was call you a donkey. You were a comedian.
Period.
A funny comedian.
And people forget that at the end of the day, Charlamagne is a comedian in his own right.
But even furthermore,
wait. But she made her whole comedic career calling people skinny bitches. I'm sorry for those of you out there that are listening with your kids, but I got to get this out. I actually went back and watched some clips from Queens of Comedy today, and she said skinny bitches are evil and need to be destroyed.
Yes, that was her stick back then.
And then to further, so you calling your husband now daddy, whatever. I think she had a different husband back then. Yeah. I think she remarried this guy later.
Yep.
But this is how much you respect the black man, is that you were like, oh, I'm the breadwinner of this relationship, so he does whatever I says do because he's a literate motherfucker anyway and an ignorant bitch. So that's how you talked about your man at that time. Yet you talking about Charlamagne disrespecting black women, and really, what are you doing? How many skinny women did you give a complex? How many women are out there getting ass implants and breast implants because you was calling them skinny bitches back in the day? How did you contribute to that body shaming, to that self-esteem? So man, you need to go somewhere with that old 50-year-old just because you in the medium size now, you're not quite fat, you're not quite skinny.
She lost a lot of weight too. I was surprised.
Extreme amount.
She lost a lot of weight, man. She looked good for a plus size woman.
But still, at the end of the day, I ain't buying what she's selling.
I know you're about to move off this because you want to keep on pace, but I just want to end this off and with a woman-to-woman legend to performing. Diana Ross, we say, is a legend. If she was to go on tour right now, if she opened an arena, she would not get the same crowd that Beyonce would get, because there's the current, and then there's past. Past legends go on tour, they sing all their old songs, people love them. But if she was on tour in the same arena as Beyonce get MetLife and she get the Spectrum, just because it's just where it is. So And I was hoping Charlamagne would say that in an interview, but he didn't say it. I'm like,
he didn't have to.
Well, he kept on trying to keep it as simple as she kept on. She kept on trying to. Oh, well, you call me a donkey, and you still haven't. You're gonna have to fess up on why you call me a donkey. And he's like,
he said why he did.
It's not complex at all. Like I called you a donkey.
He said, well, hey, I'm just trying to understand why you thought you should command more money.
Period.
And she continued to dodge the question.
She never answered that question.
Well, I think you asking disrespectful questions. Huh?
Or she'll Angela, ask that question to yourself.
Right.
And it's crazy because I really feel like it's because she is like, she's older now. She obviously
50 something.
Yeah, I mean, she wears the grays gracefully and everything, you know what I'm saying, with her nice little slick back ponytail, whatever that bun thing it was called or whatever.
Bun.
So she's older now. She feels like that she is the legend that she is, and she's on a certain level, and she doesn't have the humility it takes to be in that position. She talks like she's owed something, and I understand that as a woman in Hollywood, you've had to scrape and claw for everything that you've probably received over the amount of years you've been in Hollywood, and even today you're probably still working. But you can't feel so entitled, especially when I go to look up your concerts to see, okay, everybody that's getting their money is because they went on tour or whatever. I go to look up Monique's shows. She got 3 shows in May. She got 3 shows in September. And then I think a couple of shows in November.
But she said that's because she's blackballed. But let me ask you a question. In that interview, how come she never mentioned Whoopi Goldberg?
She did not. She would not. And Whoopi gave it to her on The View.
Whoopi gave her the business on The View. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as Whoopi Goldberg's alive, you can't claim to be.
And Whoopi has like the other awards
Whoopi doesn't. Everything top to bottom. Like there is nothing she can say that she has on Whoopi. Like that was the best bomb drop to ever just be opened up, because she cannot say. Whoopi Goldberg has gone from a real like true comedian to like a real true dramatic actress to like a real true talk show host.
Whoopi Goldberg did so good that she got a Jewish name.
There you go.
So we all agree that Monique is out of her mind when it comes to this Netflix situation, even if Netflix was trying to dog her in contract negotiations. Your body of work.
Look, I don't want to say Monique is out of her mind. I don't want
I absolutely believe
cast into that Jedi mind trick space where now we're gonna have a legion of females telling us that we are sexist or don't understand.
It's fine. Come on the show. We'll talk about it.
I see where she is coming from. However, I do not agree with her methods.
I can tell you now, she ain't coming on here because.
And I feel that Netflix is 100% in their right to go ahead and charge whatever they feel for a special, because I'm sure they are basing it off of some very aggressive metrics. And as most probably don't know, Netflix is actually a in the red business. Like they are like negative like a couple hundred,
because they have to spend so much money to get.
They spend crazy money to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
But another business tip for you guys out there: membership subscription businesses. If you can get subscribed members, you can get money. Dollar Shave Club, I believe they got up to something like 40 or 50,000 members, and were able to be sold for a couple $100 million. So definitely figure out some way to get people to tune in and subscribe to whatever you're peddling. You got the opportunity to make some bread.
Yeah, there's this watch club that I'm trying to get in, what I'm thinking about getting on.
Subscription clubs right now are booming, from clothes boxes to trinket boxes, just like you're saying with watches and other stuff. Mm-hmm. Like they have nerd boxes, they have something for whatever, candy, anything.
Nerd boxes.
I mean everything. I'm not even joking. Like literally, it's called like the nerd box, where every month you get like, little game trinkets and cards from Garbage Pail Kids or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
So going back to Monique.
Hey, if you want to have a subscription to slightly used clothing, we might consider you being a sponsor on the show.
Listen, man, This is like premium, sweated out, fresh out the gym cloth right here. And I can send that to you. I won't wash it. It'll be in great condition when you get it in the mail.
Yep.
But yeah. So
and you can even lie and tell people you went to the gym because it already smells like the gym.
See?
Facts.
Winning. The reason I did bring up Monique, not so much to get onto the Netflix situation, but the fact that in all of this, in her blackball situation, her going crazy with Netflix or whatever, Black Hollywood, though, has been fairly silent about it. The movers and shakers in Black Hollywood. And I wanted to ask the question, can we hold our legends, and I use the term loosely in this, speaking to her, but she is trying to move things forward, just not in maybe the right way. Can we hold our public legendary figures accountable, or can we hold them accountable publicly? Because it sends some sort of a bad message to those that we may be fighting against when it comes to those in Hollywood or people in, our jobs. Can we hold each other accountable in a public light?
It's just like Ian said, we all got that relative in our family that they're going to show up to the family function. You already know there's going to be an issue, but nobody's going to go tell that person anything until it gets to the point where there's the
issue like blows.
And you already know. And here's my thing. Okay, you got problems with Oprah. You got problems with Lee Daniels. You got issues with Tyler Perry. Mm-hmm. You got issues with Whoopi Goldberg now. You got issues with Ebony Magazine. At some point, when does it stop being everybody else and it's you?
Look, being a leader is all encompassing, and it also falls on the weight of the person that you're asking to lead. There are many, artists and stars that people look to for inspiration and try to make them a leader that don't want to take that position. So I think while, yes, we need to hold them up, it's also okay for them not to feel the need to accept that role. That it's not for everybody. Like you look at a LeBron James, he's willing to take on that role, whereas just random DeMarcus Cousins is not, in the forefront necessarily of, speaking out against injustices. Not to say that he's not as, active and as strongly passionate about it as LeBron is. However, he just is not the same in the forefront and doesn't want that same light shined on him. But I also feel that it's Monique is crazy.
No, it's
one of those things where you can see and understand that it's people are almost sick, and it's nobody's saying she's wrong, but everybody gets tired of that family member where it's like, look, I'm not telling you that she's wrong because she went ahead and tried to go off on somebody for them allegedly throwing the check. But do I also feel that maybe it was somebody handing in the check and, was frustrated about something else and, didn't do it, I don't necessarily if they care, if they, toss it over and like here because they had to go and do something and she went ahead and decided to exaggerate it and take it all out of hand, which was very prevalent in the interview of seeing her, be able to take one little word Charlamagne did or did not say and all of a sudden, see, you don't think that Black women have ever struggled in, well, no, that's not at all what I said or what I'm trying to allude to or by any means. That I can see that happening on many occasions and it get to the point where, just like Carol said, it's how many times can it always be them? How are you always the victim? Not to say that your ultimate goal of what needs to, what issue you think that you are solving. I'm trying to have equality for all workers on here. And I think that everybody, whether they pick up napkins or, they're running the camera, they should all be treated with respect. You were correct. However, I don't think that she necessarily tossed that check with, true hatred and disintention. It was, something happened. And even if so, man, she got that check. Oh, they flew her coach instead of first class down to this is not the issues that me as a Joe regular guy can, champion, where it's like, I understand. And yes, they could have flown her first class. I don't know the dynamic of, all of that, but they flew her there. she got there. Did her stuff get there? You know, like I understand. Oh, well, the level, yes. But if you're a jerk, sometimes you get treated the way jerks get treated. You know what I mean? Where it's like, no, I don't want to go out of my way for you. I don't want to feel that I'm doing you extra favors because I feel like you're a jerk and you're annoying. Like, yeah, you're funny on stage, but you're kind of a jerk behind closed doors. I don't want to deal with you.
But is it okay to have that conversation publicly is where I'm going, because it's like when we have riffs.
No, man. I mean, look, we probably trying to keep it in-house, but who's the one letting it out the house? She is. You didn't hear Oprah say anything. You didn't hear Tyler Perry say anything.
Puts it out
You
there,
didn't hear Roland Martin. You didn't hear any of these people say anything about what was going on until she said something.
That's fair. I'm sorry, Monique. I tried to help you out, man. I tried to throw you a bone. Hey, man, speaking of LeBron James, man, I'm glad you brought that up. What y'all think of them new look Cavs, man?
Hey, I'm always excited to see some good basketball. I see that they feel I feel like a lot of the pressure that was in that locker room has been relieved, and they're kind of back on that fun league type feel where they just out there playing. We'll see where it takes them. You know, I will never ever go against the king, like as far as just totally count him out and like feel the Warriors are just going to totally dominate and there's no way. I feel like this is NBA basketball, and any given day, you never know who is going to come out on the end of that W.
Nah, I definitely had them counted out until they made that trades at the trade deadline. Because now that they're much younger and much longer and they can shoot for real, the Warriors got some things coming. I thought the only team that could possibly beat them was the Thunder because they play with so much emotion when they do play.
You don't like the Rockets?
I don't think the Rockets can.
Rockets.
I don't know, man, because I mean, you want to run and gun, and James Harden, like, he's good in the regular season, but he hasn't shown me anything in the postseason, bro.
Nah, he's great in the regular season. If
run out of gas.
Do something in the postseason, that'd be worth watching. I mean, and that's really what his challenge is now, is to be able to show postseason that, okay, yes, I can really take this weight, because he's not good during the regular season. That man is amazing. Like the shots that he makes in the space that he creates and how he does it, I give that man all the props, because he does not have the look of he looks like he's lazy and at the strip club all the fucking time. Excuse me. You know, but
he does.
He is out there in the moves that he makes, how he's doing it, the backstep, that backstep is killer, like disgusting.
I don't know. I don't know if the Rockets can do it. I am fairly surprised to see him and Chris Paul gel the way that they did over the season. And I definitely think that the NBA just really, really got a lot more interesting over this past season.
The trading deadline, yeah, right there for the for All-Star weekend and trading deadline and all of that stuff. There was a lot of shakeups in the league that have definitely been for the best.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
a lot of excitement. NBA, it's fantastic.
We're gonna keep that energy, man, and stick with you, man.
We will be if you guys want to sponsor some podcasts or whatever.
Yes, please.
We're here.
Shoot the letter out. Faison. I mean, not Faison, I'm sorry. To Fresh. Crypto Fresh, man. I need that biddy for the week, man. What you got for the people?
What is going on? Man, I won't lie. I'm feeling extended on my investment opportunities. There's so many different opportunities out there, but I feel like my cash is my investment funds have been strapped to, pulled to the limits. So I've been kind of sitting back, patiently watching in amazement a lot of things that are going on in the space. Bitcoin again has been making that climb back up, which everybody was scared whether or not we were going to get past $10,000. Prediction by Cliff High. If you guys remember me talking about this guy a couple weeks ago, big time influencer in the crypto space who checks out the pulse of electrons and digital social media and all other kinds of cool stuff that somehow relates, and he can tell the pulse of pretty much online activity, has predicted that we will see it around 13 grand come this week, pretty much, because he was predicting that for the end of the month. So I'm fingers crossed that we're going to get back up there, because if that happens, I'm going to wrench some stuff around and do some reinvesting in some other new places. So be on the lookout to hear about a new coin come next week, because it's going down. Crypto freezy. We in the heezy.
Diversification. Make it happen. Faison, our resident BFBG, what you got for us this week for Arts Corner?
Anyway, after all the talk that's been going on and all the, blaming and, they didn't give me this, they didn't give me that, I had to think of a good one. So stop blaming others. Take responsibility for every area in your life.
Monique.
That's so hard for people to do, man. I feel like once you start doing it, it's really hard. Like
it is.
That personal accountability will change your life, man, because you just start making moves and not worrying about everybody else. You don't have these external factors that's bleeding into whatever move you feel like you make. You make stuff based on you, and that's it.
Yeah, you can get much further if you would just look at what you did wrong and go, all right, I'll fix that, versus passing around on somebody else and then blaming.
Or lying and getting caught.
It's even worse. The lie just builds, and it just builds, and it builds. And
I'll tell y'all a story once we get off here. Before we go to Coach K to close us out, man, I want to remind everybody you can catch this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. We got the videos up on YouTube, Facebook, catch the snippets. You can catch us on all social media at 13th Floor. Please get connected, stay connected, stay subscribed with us so you get all the latest going on the 13th Floor. You can check out Carol Cadillo LLC coming soon. You got J Dace Encourages going on right now with the Try for 52. We got what else we got going on?
I just dropped a new mix, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all go to
The
SoundCloud.
Pharrell.
That's right. If y'all mess with Pharrell, please go and check out tape 1, The Groove. I'm gonna put it splash. Boom. You see that? Amazing right there. Y'all make sure to go to SoundCloud, search for Barry B. Fresh. You'll find a picture of me and Pharrell cartooned up. Make sure to check it out. Listen to other.
That was pretty cool, by the way.
Oh, you like that one? Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Fresh stay with the new hotness, man. I don't know where he gets it from, but easy. Coach K, what you got for the people?
Look, man, I wish we'd have let Faison go right now, because that was
it.
That was good. I will say, never self-inflate yourself so much that now nobody else can connect with you or understand you. Because when you do that, there's no help. There's no help for you. If
you can call Daddy.
Daddy, go ahead, tell him.
You can call Daddy, who Daddy's gonna roll with you because you're the breadwinner.
You the breadwinner.
So Daddy's not gonna say anything against you. But real talk, man, just always be self-aware. Just know what's going on. If you for a cause, be about the cause. Don't be about the cause because you're gonna backdoor your way into the benefit of the cause.
Trying to backdoor you. He was almost on the other side of the fence, man. If y'all listen to that interview, like you kept on seeing the points that Charlamagne was making. I was almost ready to see.
Yeah, he was like, it's a good point. But
I'm not gonna dare go against Master.
He probably got beat up when she got to where he was.
That's why.
After that stunt she pulled at the end of that thing on show,
he got choked up in the car downstairs, and
right.
You
don't come upstairs. Stay in the car and call in
that black eye.
Hey man, we up out of here. Thank you all for listening with us here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
The 13th floor. The 13th floor.